Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and this video a like up. Dwayne Johnson is still buzzing about his guest role and working with the amazing Jeri Ryan on Star Trek Voyager 25 years later. The Hollywood titan and former WWE champion guest starred in Star Trek Voyager Season 6, Episode 15, Tsunkatse. In 2000, Dwayne Johnson was already one of the biggest stars in pro wrestling as The Rock. Johnson was tapped to guest star on Star Trek Voyager in a bout of corporate synergy with its fellow series on United Paramount Network, UPN, WWE SmackDown. In an interview with Johan Albrechtsen of Movie TV to promote The Smashing Machine, Dwayne Johnson spoke enthusiastically when Johan asked whether he had any special memories of appearing on Star Trek Voyager, which was his earliest acting role. The Rock also gave Jeri Ryan, who played 7 of 9, the highest praise on Star Trek Voyager. Dwayne Johnson played the Pandari champion, who battled a kidnapped 7 of 9 in a violent fighting competition called the Tsunkatse. Even playing an alien gladiator, The Rock worked in his patented WWE finishing move, the Rock Bottom, and even raised his eyebrow like People's Champion of WWE. Dwayne Johnson's Star Trek Voyager guest spot came a year before his big screen debut as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns, which led to a spin-off starring The Rock. Johnson has since become one of the biggest stars in Hollywood thanks to the Fast and Furious franchise, Jungle Cruise, Jumanji, and Moana, as well as the TV series Ballers and Young Rock. Amusingly, Jeri Ryan didn't know Dwayne Johnson was a world-famous wrestler when they worked together on Star Trek Voyager. Johnson left an autographed photo for Ryan that said, "The Rock smells what you're cooking." Ryan was confounded until the wrestling fans on Voyager's crew explained who The Rock was to her. Star Trek Voyager was Dwayne Johnson's first significant Hollywood franchise. It's heartwarming that Johnson has fond memories of his brief time in the final frontier and a high regard for Star Trek fans. With Paramount Skydance developing a new Star Trek theatrical film, perhaps Starfleet will beam The Rock back up once more. More than 2 decades have passed since Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stepped onto the set of Star Trek Voyager. Yet if you ask him about it today, he still lights up like a cadet on his first day in Starfleet. It's a rare thing for an actor with a galaxy-sized career, full of blockbuster movies, billion-dollar franchises, and global fame, to still speak with boyish enthusiasm about a single episode of television. But that's the magic of Star Trek, and according to Johnson himself, it's the magic of Jeri Ryan, too. Back in 1999, Johnson was a WWE superstar, just beginning to test the waters of mainstream acting. Most of the world still knew him as the eyebrow-raising, crowd-roaring icon of the wrestling ring. But Johnson had ambitions beyond body slams and championship belts, and Voyager gave him one of the earliest opportunities to explore them. The episode Tsunkatse, in which he played a hulking Pandari gladiator, wasn't just a stunt cameo. It was the moment he realized acting could be as electrifying as any sold-out arena. And decades later, he still talks about it. A Star Trek memory that never faded. Whenever Johnson reminisces about his time in the Trek universe, it's with unmistakable fondness. He's joked in interviews that stepping onto a starship was as surreal as smelling what The Rock was cooking for the first time. But beneath the humor is a sincere nostalgia. For an actor who would eventually work with legends, take over film franchises, and launch entire cinematic universes, it was Voyager, a single guest role that made him feel like he belonged. He often recalls walking through the sets, awestruck by the lights, the consoles, the sleek metallic panels that felt like stepping into the 24th century. And even then, before Voyager's legacy fully matured, he could feel the weight of its importance. "Trek isn't just a show," he once said. "It's a universe, a culture, a phenomenon." But the biggest reason he remembers the experience so vividly? Jeri Ryan. Jeri Ryan, the amazing force behind the scenes. Johnson has never been shy in praising his Voyager co-star. Even today, he calls Jeri Ryan amazing, not merely as an actor, but as a presence. At the time, Ryan was deep into her iconic portrayal of Seven of Nine, the ex-Borg drone wrestling daily with her humanity. The character was a powerhouse, and the performer behind her even more so. For Johnson, still new to Hollywood and still adjusting to acting outside the wrestling world, Ryan was a grounding, supportive, unexpectedly generous co-star. He has said that watching her work was like witnessing an artist paint in real time, precise, intense, and effortlessly compelling. In the episode, Seven is forced into gladiatorial combat, her every move scrutinized, her every decision loaded with moral complexity. Johnson's character was designed to physically outmatch her, yet she was the emotional center of the story. Behind the scenes, Ryan helped Johnson understand the tone of the series, the rhythm of dramatic sci-fi, and the seriousness with which Voyager treated its characters. "She didn't treat me like the wrestler who got a cameo," he has said. "She treated me like an actor." Those words, coming from someone who would eventually become one of the most bankable movie stars in the world, show just how deeply Ryan's professionalism stayed with him. The fight scene that taught Johnson everything, the Tsunkatsu arena sequence, remains one of the most memorable action scenes of Voyager, and Johnson still looks back on it as a turning point. Coming from wrestling, he knew how to choreograph fights for theatrical impact. But on Voyager, he was challenged to perform a fight for narrative meaning. This wasn't about the spectacle of a body slam. It was about the internal struggle Seven was facing. Every hit, every dodge, every moment of eye contact had to contribute to her story. For Johnson, that was a revelation. On set, he worked closely with Ryan, who was navigating both the physical demands of the role and the psychological depth Trek fans loved. Johnson later said that what impressed him most wasn't just her ability to perform the scene, but her ability to imbue every gesture with emotional weight. "She was in character every second," he recalled, "and that made me raise my game." When the cameras rolled, Johnson delivered a performance far more controlled and nuanced than many expected from a wrestling star. He wasn't the Rock in the ring, he was a disciplined, formidable alien warrior, and he credited much of that transformation to Ryan's influence, a guest role that became a badge of honor. Today, the actor has an entertainment empire: movies, TV shows, tequila brands, energy drinks, wrestling returns, and enough global influence to rival any Hollywood titan. Yet when the topic of Star Trek comes up, he still grins like a fan. He has said that being part of the franchise is something no one can ever take away from him. "A lot of people can say they've been in action movies," he once joked, "but not everyone can say they've fought a Borg in space." The episode became a cult favorite, especially among fans who love spotting early performances from actors who later became international superstars. Johnson often expresses surprise that people still recognize him from it, but he also appreciates the lasting affection. In a career spanning decades and genres, Voyager remains a tiny but meaningful star in his constellation of achievements. Perhaps the most charming part of Johnson's continued excitement is how often he brings up his admiration for Ryan, not out of obligation or nostalgia, but out of genuine respect. In an industry where egos collide like starships, he remembers her kindness and professionalism as a defining part of his early journey. He's described her as focused, fierce, incredibly smart, and yes, amazing. And considering Ryan's own massive impact on the franchise, from Voyager to Picard, it's easy to see why their brief collaboration meant so much to him. She embodied what Star Trek strives for: intelligence, resilience, complexity, and a touch of elegance even in combat boots and prosthetics. A guest spot that became a lifelong source of joy. As he continues building new worlds and conquering new entertainment frontiers, Dwayne Johnson still looks back at his time on Star Trek, Voyager with pride, gratitude, and a spark of fanboy excitement that never seems to fade. It wasn't just a cameo. It was a formative moment, a lesson in craft, and a memory he treasures even now. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.